Is a plug-in hybrid right for you? I have to admit that I considered long and hard before purchasing one. I did consider a full electric, but I'm still not completely convinced. I didn't want to have to worry about any range anxiety on the odd long journey that I do. We had previously owned a couple of hybrids, which I was very pleased with economy wise, if nothing else. But I did a few calculations and I felt that a plug-in hybrid was right for us. Did my calculations work out alright? Let's find out. Well, the last time I filled up with petrol was about 3 months ago, and in that time I've covered just over 3,000 miles. My average fuel consumption has been 520 miles to the gallon. I've owned the car since new and travelled about 6,000 miles since then. And in that time, which includes quite a lot of long runs, which I didn't initially expect to do, it's averaged 118 miles per gallon. So I am really pleased with that. Because I'm so pleased with these results, I thought I would try and show people why this car suits my lifestyle here in France and see if it will help anyone else considering buying a plug-in hybrid. So first of all, is it right for you? Well, not if you continuously drive a lot of long distances. It's really designed for the not too shorter distances, but shorter. And also not if you like to drive hard and fast. No hybrid is going to be suitable for you if you are a hard driver. It's perfect for me because being retired, I have plenty of time to enjoy relaxed driving. But that doesn't mean I'm a slow driver. I certainly don't get left behind. I do enjoy that burst of speed when the conditions are right. But the main point I'm trying to make here is that it's really for more local runs rather than long distances. When I do travel longer distances, I didn't want to have to worry about the range anxiety of a full electric car. The majority of roads here in France have a maximum speed of 80 km per hour, about 50 miles per hour. Unless you're going to the motorways where the limit is 130 km per hour, about 80 miles per hour. So travelling more locally at 50 miles an hour is a pleasant way to drive. Just set the cruise control, relax and enjoy the fabulous scenery. But of course a plug-in hybrid doesn't suit everyone. But I will try and show why it suits my lifestyle here in France in the hope that it may help someone considering purchasing one. So we live in a small village and have to travel for almost everything. Fortunately, I love driving, so that's no hardship. To make the most of this car, it must be charged really every night. Otherwise, you might as well buy a normal hybrid. For us, this has worked out very well. We just charge overnight on the reduced tariff. It's surprising how many people use their cars daily but don't travel more than 30 miles. So I will cover my normal week's driving and show why this car suits us. We do all our week's shopping 1 day of the week, 12 miles each way, all on electric power, no trouble at all. We transport our grandchildren around once a week. It's about a 30-mile round trip and again all on electric. We usually take a trip to Valence 2 or 3 times a week for a coffee or aperitif. Now that's a round trip of 42 miles, so obviously we can't do all of that in electric. This means though that we can drive into Valence using only the electric power, but would not have enough electricity to get home. It's about 7 or 8 miles short. Now if I'm feeling lazy or it's raining and I don't want to bother plugging in the electric cable, or on the odd occasion where there's no chargers left, I'll drive that 7 or 8 miles on the petrol engine, which of course the car cuts into automatically. But what is interesting and beneficial to us with the charging here is that where we prefer to park, the cost is about €2 for 2 hours. But if we plug in and use the slow charge cable, the cost works out about €148, and that gives us enough electric range to complete the journey home. So it's actually cheaper to charge the car than pay for a parking space. We normally enjoy a trip to Grenoble once a month, about 45 miles each way. Now, keeping to the speed limits, we can actually get to Grenoble just using the battery. That's 70 kilometres. Now, to be fair, this is a fairly easy route, few stops and starts, but that is still more than the advertised range of 55 kilometres, which I think is great. There are no convenient chargers to where we like to park in Grenoble, so we use the petrol engine on the return journey, and depending on how I'm driving, we average 52 to 55 miles per gallon, which I'm more than happy with. The cruise control on this car is adaptive, so it adjusts to the speed to adapt to the traffic conditions. Plus, using the lane keep assist, it all makes for a very pleasant journey. So, how has all this worked out for us? Using the car we do, driving every day, but mainly, not always, within the electric range, we have the benefits of an electric car with all the range we want when needed. But as I said earlier, I do make sure that I charge the battery every night, unless I'm not going to use the car the following day, which is very rare. Without charging, it really is pointless. So, why did I opt for the Hyundai Tucson in particular? Well, one of the original reasons was that this particular car has a genuine EV range of 34 miles or 55 kilometres. Many cars do not live up to their claims. I read quite a few car reviews of all different models before we bought it, and the EV range quoted by a lot of the manufacturers was often not really achievable in real life. And I felt that anything less than 30 miles of EV range would not suit me. The Hyundai does what it says on the tin, a full 55 kilometres or even more, as I showed earlier. When I actually went for a test drive, I was only able to test the hybrid model as there were no plug-ins available. But the test drive still convinced me. It felt fairly luxurious, light and airy, helped by that large full-length sunroof, with a very quiet and comfortable ride. But that did still leave me with a couple of questions. Would the 90 brake horsepower electric motor be enough to keep up with the traffic in normal use, and especially so on hills? We regularly use some fairly steep hills around here. With a couple of hybrids that I owned, the engine would always cut in going up a hill no matter how gently I was trying to press the throttle. And the same if I accelerated a little bit too hard. But no worries at all. It has ample power for both. The petrol engine has never cut in going up any hill, and as I say, some of them are pretty steep, and it accelerates more than briskly enough just using the electric power. If I do accelerate really hard for overtaking, yes, the engine does cut in. And with 261 brake horsepower under the bonnet, it's no slouch. So it can be a lot of fun. One of the benefits of a full electric car is the silence. It is nice and quiet and relaxing, especially around town. No petrol engine revving through the gearbox, it just effortlessly wafts you away in near silence. And in EV mode, this car is the same. And when there is a change between the electric and petrol engine, it is pretty seamless most of the time. So yes, I'm very pleased with the car and its fuel consumption. I hope to follow this up with another video discussing some of the likes and dislikes of the car, and show some of the oddities of driving in France compared to the UK.